Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Starbucks. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, as always, our co host, Jim Rosati. Jim, first off, I want to take the time to wish you a very, very happy sitting your ass at home day. Pirates Nation is very pleased to know that you're not at the Milwaukee game.
Well, I mean, the curse is lifted, right? I mean, we won yesterday, so
I mean, is it?
I
Because you
think
won
that
one game doesn't
means,
mean that 21 to
yeah.
nothing didn't happen.
No, I think it means it didn't happen. It's done.
Uh,
It was
Are you
kind of
sure?
crazy though. Like I'm sitting there in that second inning yesterday, on Saturday, when it got to 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, 9-0, and I'm like, oh no, not not this again.
Yes, Jim. You, for everyone listening that doesn't know, you spurred the moment decided to go to Chicago to watch the Pirates play the Cubs. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it? Let's start off with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was Friday, kind of Friday afternoon. I was just like, man, it's going to be pretty nice weather, especially Saturday. So Saturday was going to be nice. The weather looked okay for Sunday too, but I was more concerned with Saturday. I was like, weather looks great. Um, I had a tea time Saturday with some buddies, and I was like, that's like my only plan for the entire weekend. My wife was doing this cookie festival thing, and so she was going to be gone doing that all day Saturday. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go to Chicago. And so just got in my car, hopped in, and started driving up Friday after work. So um didn't really have any plans. I booked a hotel downtown. Luckily was able to kind of meet up with some people while I was in Chicago. So, I was able to kind of socialize and do some stuff. But no, it was great though. I mean, I hopped in the car, and then literally I realized about an hour and a half into the drive, I started hitting the Indianapolis city limits. And I was like, oh, wait, I've got to drive through Indianapolis to get to Chicago. And it was like 7:15 at that point in time. The Indianapolis Indians had just started a game. And I was just like, well, I mean, it's a 4.5 hour drive. I could split it up. And so just spur of the moment, got off, went to the Indianapolis game for a few innings. So that was a good time. Got to see an O'Neill Cruz hit. So that was big. But yeah, so that was fun. I was there for about 3 or 4 innings, and then I hopped back on the road. But got into Chicago Friday night. Saturday, gorgeous day. Went down to the ballpark, met up with some with a buddy of mine and his friend before the game. Had some beers, went to the game. Come the second inning, you know, it was just a disaster at that point.
That's when disaster
Um,
strike.
that's when disaster struck. And I text him. I'm just like, if you're still at that bar, I might be joining you here pretty soon. And so, second inning, third inning, they added on. Fourth inning, I watched the Pirates bat in the fourth, and once they didn't do anything, I saw Vogelback's double basically, and then I left after that. So, yeah, it was a 4.5 hour drive to watch 3.5 innings of baseball on Saturday. So I was
Clearly
like, I'm
wasn't
out.
wasn't getting
Yeah,
your money's worth then, huh?
I'm out. The ticket was free, so that was good. So shout
As I
out
said,
to
still didn't
the
get your money's
owner
worth.
there. Yeah, still didn't even get it. Yeah. Um, so went back to the bar, basically just drank outside Wrigley for the rest of the game. Um, then from there went to another place, met up with some other people. Yeah, so it was a fun day, even though the baseball game was bad.
It
Everybody
was
saw me in my
so
keep.
bad.
Everyone saw me in my Brian Hayes jersey, and they were like, "Oh, how about that game?" And I was just like, "Hey, it's history. It's like we witnessed history today. You don't get to see that very often. These are
Glad you
two
could be a part
storied
of it.
two storied franchises. They're both 130, 140 years old, And both of them did something that had never been done before. That was the Cubs' most lopsided win.
See, there's excitement everywhere.
Yeah, the dogs are so excited for history. So yeah, I mean, it was. I guess you could say, hey, I was there for that. I don't know if that's much of an accomplishment. But so yeah, and then Sunday, weather wasn't as good. It was pouring for a little bit of time, delayed. But what a game yesterday! That game was great. I was kind of I was debating on like, do I just go home and get home kind of at a good hour, or do I go and leave early? And then once I was there, I was like, I'm just gonna stay. So stayed the whole game. Got in about last night around 12:30 at night, and here we are, like 5.5 hours later.
There you go. Very nice. And it was funny because obviously, you were gracious enough to ask anyone if they wanted to join you. And I was like, I have a wedding Friday night that I was at. Outside of that, I didn't like really truly have anything planned. Not that my wife probably would have been too happy if I said, "Hey, I'm going to Chicago," but I could probably maybe swindle some things.
Yeah.
But no, I looked and tickets were $600 to even get there. So Jim, I'm out. It's not worth $600 for me to go witness this history. So I did not partake in the festivities, but I'm glad you did go. I mean, it was kind of cool. I mean, I love spur of the moment trips. Why not go see Chicago? But yeah, it wasn't that pleasing of an event, I'm sure, as far as baseball goes. Now, the other stuff seemed like it was probably pretty fun. But I don't know. I guess maybe we should get into the games a little bit here. Do we even want to? I guess maybe let's back up to Friday.
Yeah.
We'll kind of bypass Saturday a little bit. We'll, kind of forget about it, but we'll bring up some things.
We don't need to talk too much about it. Yeah.
Sure. But I mean, regardless, the Pirates, though, they do take the series in Chicago. You wouldn't believe it, but they did. 3 out of 4 they won. As I sent to Curtis, our Cubs friend. Hate to be a Chicago fan right now. Lost 1 out of 4 to the Bucks and the Bucks. So the Pirates win Friday 4-2. Quintana takes the mound. His revenge game again. It was a mediocre. Hey, I'll put it this way: Quintana is our best starter, like hands down. It seems, which isn't great, but he goes 4.2, 2 earned runs. The team gets the win. It's like everything we've mentioned about this team and its MO and what they did. I mean, it's exactly how they secured the win. They were down. Actually, were they down?
Friday was, I think, the first game of the entire year where they actually had a lead.
I think you're right.
Like first, I think they scored first. So yeah, it was 2-0 in the second. Roberto Perez had a big single with a few runners on, scored Kevin Newman and Josh Van Meter. So very, three very productive hitters there. Perez, Newman, and Van Meter got the offense going in the second inning. So that gave him the lead. Yeah, that gave him the lead. And then, the Cubs tied it back up in the second, but then Quintana came out, shut the door for a couple more innings. He went 4 2/3. He couldn't quite finish the fifth. Hembry came on, I believe, in the fifth to finish it out. And then from there, bullpen shut him down. Chase DeYoung came on, pitched 2 scoreless innings in his debut for the season. And then they did the Bednar Stratton thing, where Bednar, I think, came on to kind of face like 3, 4, 5 in the 8th, and then Stratton shut the door in the 9th. It got a little dicey in the 9th, but got it done. And yeah, nice win Friday night. I didn't get to watch this game because, again, I was driving. Right. I was listening to it. But yeah, Chavis with another homer, Roberto Perez homer. So a big game for Roberto Perez. He went 2 for 3 with a homer and 3 runs batted in. So he was responsible for 3 of those 4 runs. And then Chavis with the other homer.
Yeah. No, and obviously this is a game I couldn't watch either, being at that wedding. But I guess all in all, I mean, pretty good. They got to Smiley, which, we talked about mentioning him on the spaces heading into this game, although short season, right? No earned runs against him. They put 4 on him. They win 4-2. The offense it wasn't like an outburst, right? Like you said, Perez is pretty much it. He went 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. And then Chavis had another home run. So, it's like, last week's theme was basically like the surprises, the early season surprises, right? Chavis was one of them. He was batting 500. Up to this point, now he's batting 400 with that home run. It's still, now that I've seen, right, we saw the StatCast page, like we're kind of seeing what he's doing. And like this week, we kind of look closer to it. And it's what he's doing. Like this guy it's not that he's just swinging at everything, right? But he's being ultra aggressive. Like basically he sees a strike, he swings, makes contact. And then what happens with it happens with it. So again, I don't know what much to make out of Chavis. I'm still going to give him plenty of playing time. So far, again, kind of clutch.
Yeah, I mean he's been good. He had a really rough day Sunday, but big homer on Friday, and he has been absolutely serviceable, if not better, in almost all of his starts.
That's a good way of putting it. So
yeah.
Again, with I just, it is kind of is what it is, but like Tucker, Newman, Park now gone. Even like Castillo's now like having a little bit of his struggles. Chavis is he's still there. He's still doing it so far. So, again, I'm going to give him every opportunity to keep playing. Newman had
Newman had a weird series,
awful week. Yeah, it was like game by game. Yeah. It was like decent, and then he had Saturdays was just awful. He had 2 errors, and I think 3. The third one, no, 2 errors, but I believe also 2 other bad plays and 1 actual errors. Just there was 4 misplays I think he had on Saturday.
Well, I mean, he had he was the reason for the floodgates getting open. It was him. Like that second inning, there were two double play balls hit to him that he fields them, and it's a double play. The innings are over. Like they're over. It's not 9-0 after 2. It's maybe, I think it would have been 4. It would have been 4-0. I think, if he had fielded those, but he botched both of them. He had a shot when it was 4-0, then he had a shot when it was 6-0, and just both times it was bad. So actually, yeah, I'm even looking at this now. I think it was even worse than that. I think he could have stopped the bleeding at 2-0 now that I'm thinking about it. So yeah, I mean he was responsible for that. Now at the same time, Zach Thompson just could not just get it. Like once those things happened, it just spiraled out of control. But Kevin Newman, it was his fault. like Saturday was his fault. Yeah, I mean it was all him, and he went 0 for 3. But then Sunday he gets to start back, and he made a really nice play Sunday, like deep in the hole at shortstop. And then he had a very good day offensively too. He had a, I think he had a double at one point. I don't think he drove any runs in, but he got on base a couple times. He did get an RBI. So yeah, he had a very good game on Sunday, but Saturday was just awful.
That it was. Yes, I just, and the thing about Kevin Newman, so let's go back, a few weeks on NS9 Live when I had to harp in and talk about how, he's getting the ball in the air. Not so much anymore. That's kind of gone away. Hitting the ball right into the ground. Not very hard, grounding out until the few times that he doesn't. But Kevin Newman, it was the one thing that Kevin Newman had was the glove. That's what surprised us last year. The glove became elite, not even just passable, but the bat was just horrible, So, okay, he's coming into this year. He's got a really, really good glove. The bat can come around. Maybe let's see what happens. And the bat isn't really coming around at all. It's pretty much exactly the same as it was last year. And the thing is, the glove is not looking good. And this isn't as like, it's not as if Kevin Newman had one bad game, because he had one really, really bad game. However, this isn't the first time he's made some blunders at shortstop. He actually hasn't been playing a good defensive shortstop. There's moments, but overall, his defense is one of the worst. So with that being said, now granted, it's early into the season. Maybe he just, I don't know. Maybe something's going on in his life. Maybe, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not giving you anything at this point in time, offensively or defensively. Is there any type of leash with Kevin Newman?
I mean, apparently there is, or he'd be gone.
Where do we stand with Kevin Newman? And I get it. And that's what I'm asking you, because there's still Tucker.
Yeah.
Like, there's still this long list of players. But
if I was running this team, Kevin Newman would not be on it. He wouldn't have been on it coming out of spring training. He would not be on this team. Like you mentioned, there are too many other people that they're not even really all that interesting, but there's some people who I think, you could give some playing time to see what they have, right? And finally make up your mind on some other people. My mind's made up on Kevin.
Who are those
Newman.
people?
I think everybody's mind is made up. Like Cole Tucker. Like Cole Tucker is a guy who, if you're going to have him on this team, like find out if he's something. I would rather see Cole Tucker, but I mean, the main person is O'Neal Cruz. That's the main person here. O'Neal Cruz should be on the Pirates right now. I don't care if you tell me, oh, but Jim, he just hit his only home run of the year yesterday. He wasn't really hitting that well. I don't care. Like, he is good. He should be on this team. He should have been on the team from the get-go. But I mean, you're thinking like that's like Kevin Newman is taking at bats from O'Neal Cruz right now. And that shouldn't be happening. He's taking at bats from Diego Castillo. He's taking at bats from Cole Tucker. And again, I don't really want to see much more of Cole Tucker, but I'd rather just make up your mind on Newman that he isn't it, which he's not. Obviously, we've known this for a while. Cut ties with Newman. Cole Tucker. We'll give you, like, if you're not going to give O'Neal Cruz a shot, give Cole Tucker a shot. Like, send him out there every day for 2 months. If he can't do it, boom, he's done. But like, you've got these people who you need to figure out if there's something there, and you can't figure out if there's something there if you're playing Kevin Newman every day.
Yep. That's just where I'm at with Kevin Newman. Like, you're in it. I understand it's early in the season. He's played 13 games. Some of that was because, he had an injury in his groin, so he was out for a little bit here. But the bat, there's no improvement. I was willing to say it was a really, really bad year and a half for him. All right, because the shortened season wasn't a full season technically. So it was a really, really bad year and a half, which is a long time. But I'm willing to say I'll put it behind us. There's not much, excitement going on. O'Neal Cruz clearly isn't on the team, so let's see what Kevin Newman has. And at this point in time, it's a 222 batting average, which last year was 226. It's a 286 on base, which last year was 265. I mean, yes, it's an 87 weighted run created plus at this point in time, but he's striking out more. He's not getting it done. And we talk about the defense. The defense hasn't been there. It's not elite. He is not an asset to this club. I mean, at this point in time, he has a 0 WAR. It's a 0 WAR. Yes, it's 13 games he's played, but we're seeing much of the Kevin Newman. And like you said, what are you going to gain out of this? If you're seeing the same Kevin Newman, he's not tradable. So you're not playing him to try to gain value and flip him at the deadline. He's just not tradable. Nobody wants a Kevin Newman. And you're not playing him around because he's going to be part of his team and his future. So like you're saying, like, instead of what sucks, and like, I don't believe in Cole Tucker either. I haven't believed in Cole Tucker for a long, long time. Right. But I will at least give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll at least give him a situation where, you know what, I am anointing you now the starting shortstop. All right. I'm going to give you every opportunity I gave Kevin Newman. You are the shortstop at this point in time. Go ahead and do it. Instead of dicking him around and playing him in right field, second base here, all this stuff that he can't do. He plays right field good enough to have a glove, but he shouldn't be like a right fielder. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We've already seen just like what the difference is between a competent right fielder and not. Just looking at like
How
we've seen
Marisnik
Cole Tucker out
saved
there,
that game.
and we've seen Marisnik out there. Like Marisnik yesterday, literally the Pirates win because Jake Marisnik's in right field. If Cole Tucker's in right field, Pirates probably don't win that game. They probably lose.
100% agree. And that just shows you how valuable it is to have an actual outfielder on the club, which at this point they only have 3 again. But we'll get there. So I'm with you. It's like I would rather at this point in time just say, here, Cole Tucker, here, shortstop, get you in a comfortable place, and then see what you got. And when it's nothing again, then you move on from him as well. And O'Neal Cruz is in there playing shortstop. Hopefully sooner than later, anyways. But like I'm with you as well. Like the whole Kevin Newman thing. This is 3 seasons in a row: 224, 226, 222 batting averages, 281, 265, 286 batting averages. I'm sorry, on base percentages. And clearly the power's not there, right? So like this is to me like this is Kevin Newman. I don't need to see anymore. We know what he is.
He just doesn't hit the ball hard. I mean, plain and simple. He is one of the softest hitting players in Major League Baseball. I mean, if you look at his StatCast page is just littered with blue. Like when you're looking at average exit velocity, 2019 blue. Even when he had a good year, bottom 5% of the year of the league. He just had a ridiculous amount of infield singles that helped inflate that batting average. 2020 blue, 2021 blue, this year blue. It's all blue. Like his batted ball data is all blue, and that's not a good thing. Like you don't want to see all the blue on the StatCast page.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's again like this isn't. It's not as if we're like it is small sample for 2022, right? But it's not as if like we're just using this small sample of 2022 for what we're getting to. Like this is now into the 3rd season since 2020, right? That one good year, like you mentioned, and even that good year is much like this. Like this is Kevin Newman. It just doesn't translate.
Yes, so, this is who he is. He's a guy with an average exit velocity from 83 to 85, and he's one of the weakest hitting players in Major League Baseball, if not the weakest.
Yes. Okay. So off that, I did. I'm glad you brought up too. Like we kind of that's maybe the transition, but seeing Shelton put Marisnik out there in the outfield, right? Yesterday, we talked about Shelton's strategy, solid move, and it paid off. But also to get to the fact that, right, let's transition again a little bit, that Anthony Alford got called up and you were so excited that you went to Chicago to see him. And then he was DFA'd. Anthony Alford provided finally a 4th out. Now, granted, none of us, right, you nor I, are the biggest Anthony Alford fans. Probably shouldn't have been on the 40-man to begin with. However, when you look at this team lacks all kinds of depth everywhere, right? As far as outfield goes, as far as starting pitching or pitching in general goes, and then catching. So Anthony Alford at least provided a 4th outfielder to this team. You have Reynolds, you have Gamble, Marisnik, obviously, and then Alford. With Alford gone now, we're back to just 3 true outfielders. Marisnik shows you the value of having an actual outfielder in right field. And like you said, he won that game. Because if he wasn't in there, right, Shelton did not put him in that game. Bednar loses. Pirates lose. And it's a whole different vibe and environment for that clubhouse today as well. So huge shout out to, Shelton for doing the right thing. But like, what are we doing? Why like my whole issue with like this whole transaction and everything too is you had a Roansy Contreras on the team. This whole transaction happened because the bullpen's depleted, because you have no pitchers that can give you more than 4 innings pitched. Even though you had a Roansy Contreras on the team. The bullpen's done. You had to make this move. So now you're down. You have no outfield depth again because you needed to have another bullpen pitcher. And in order to do it, you had to add him to the 40 man because, again, there's no depth. I just don't understand any of this.
Yeah, I mean, after that 21-0 win, I was like, they were probably going to need a pitcher for tomorrow just in case. I didn't know if they would do a position player there. That's kind of what surprised me. Like, I was thinking the move was going to be they're going to add somebody, and Miguel Yajure would kind of be the odd man out. They would option him, and you know they'd have to add somebody because they don't have anybody on this 40 man like you mentioned, and somebody would have to get DFA'd. I was not really expecting it to be Anthony Alford. I figured that, like, if you were going to have Alford on this team, you were going to give him some playing time to see again if you have something. Again, I think both of us, we've already kind of made up our minds on Alford. There's not something there, and I guess the Pirates decided that too, because they only gave him one start before DFAing him. So
and maybe we can get there too. But like, what was the point of keeping on the 40 man roster if you're just going to DFA him after one start?
I mean, I guess he's not somebody who's going to get claimed, right? So that's the other thing too. Like, Anthony Alford's just going to go to Indy in a couple of days. Like, don't think of this as like the Anthony Alford experiment is over. We're never going to see him again. I bet we see him before the end of the year because at some point we're probably going to need another outfielder, and they're not going to add Smith and Jigba quite yet. I don't think. He's, I think, the only other guy on the 40 man. I think, but that's an outfielder. So
Swaggerty.
Oh, Swaggerty. Okay, so you got those two. But like neither of them are ready yet. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do there. But I would expect Alford to be back in Indy. He's not going to, like I say, not going to get claimed. It's just weird. Bo Salser is the guy they call up here. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. I follow the organization pretty closely. I like had heard of him before. They call up here but,
well, there's that. Yeah, like congrats to him. Like, I hate to make this, as a negative thing, and this guy's like, son of a bitch, I just made the majors, and like they're just shitting on the entire thing. Yeah, so congratulations. Awesome wearing number 69, keeping the tradition, I guess, of every Pirate person getting called up that probably shouldn't be there. Yeah. So but right, like I just don't understand the entire process. I don't understand the whole thinking of this whole roster construction. Like when it all comes down to, honestly, this all comes down to Josh Van Meter. Like why that happened, I don't know. You could have had another outfielder, you could have another pitcher, you could have another catcher that would alleviate all these issues that you're falling into already this early into the season when you have neither of them and have needed them. And yet you added another middle infielder to give us 39 of them on this 40-man roster. I don't understand that. He's not even that good. So again, that's like what it all bubbles down to. But regardless, that was the move that was made. And there's no outfielders. And again, like last night showed you just how invaluable an actual person who plays outfield is. So, I don't know. But yeah, Marisnick just shows exactly why he was signed to this team. Very, very good defensively. And that throw, holy hell. I don't even know how the Cubs didn't score. I mean, that bloop in the right field, he comes in and he just fired it at Perez. I mean, I guess great scouting to know, like, no, I'm not even gonna attempt to send. I think was it Contreras rounding third at that time? Yes. I think you are correct. But it was him round, and they pumped the brakes right away. They weren't even like attempting to send him, and Marisnick just fired a strike to Perez. Easily would have been out at home plate. So again, like just great defense by him. Yes. Yeah, he ran down that ball rather quickly because that had a terrible bounce. And he was hustling. He did it. He kept, like you said, kept him to a second base to a double. Um, I mean, I'll put it this way: Tucker, yes, right. I was gonna say like Tucker. I mean, Tucker's fast, right? Like he probably could have caught up just like Merznick did, but I don't know if Tucker plays that well enough off the wall to even be in this situation to be able to run that down. So it's like you said, like there's definitely quite a few plays in right field that would have lost the game had Merznick not been there. So yeah, so great play by him. Do we want to kind of just touch on some performances from the weekend? So I mean, we'll do the starting pitch, and we talked about Quintana a bit. Obviously, Zach Thompson, like the start before was kind of mixed, right? We talked about him how a lot of swing and miss stuff. The beginning, some runs and some runs. The middle was really good and effective. Obviously, a lot of bad defense at last start out. This start out, right? He had Kevin Newman to give him some bad defense, but he didn't look anywhere near as good as he did in Milwaukee that second start. I mean, what are we starting to make of Zach Thompson so far? Right. Right. And that's like a really good way of putting it. And like it's kind of funny and ironic with him, right? Like I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I didn't like the move. I didn't think he's gonna amount to much, but he's on the team. Let's see what it is. And you're right. Like the past two starts, you can clearly give him a pass, right? An excuse that the defense was just terrible, right? We know the one in Milwaukee was, the offense. I'm sorry, the defense in the outfield, and then right, this last start was the defense in the infield for him. So he's had very, very bad defense behind him to help enhance his bad performances, but ultimately there were still bad performances on him and his end as well. So I'm gonna give him the leash. This rotation we see is clearly terrible, and there's no one that it's not as if like you can get him out to put someone in, unless that's Rowansy. Um, so it kind of is what it is. See what he has, but like I'm not impressed by him at this point in time either. It's just another guy to the mix of bad pitchers on this team, and this rotation is very, very bad. I guess this my Debbie Downer section of this show right now, but maybe it's just like this 8-8 record that's masking a lot of things right now, and like the bullpen. And when I say the bullpen, I mean like four pitchers in the bullpen that are pitching lights out right now. That's not going to be sustainable. That's making this team 8-8 at this point in time. Why are we seeing talks that this team could actually be good? Has anyone looked at this rotation? You cannot be good when you have a rotation that's this bad and can't even get you through 4 innings. This can't be, you can't Will Crow cannot be a pitcher who throws 200 innings in middle relief. And he's not going to do it with a 0 ERA at the end of the year. Is it also fair, just to jump in here, is it also quite fair to say because the bullpen's so good, it's made the starting pitching? Because when that starting pitcher gets taken out, that guy that comes in doesn't add on to that pitcher's earned run total. They shut him down, and therefore that starting pitcher has a little sigh of relief and says, "Oh, good, thank you for cleaning up my mess." Her pillar of strength. And it is. He's gone 5.14 and now 4.2. It is. Let me. Yes, 3-0. Yes, Dylan Peters, our relief pitcher, is 3-0. Yeah, we're yeah, yeah. It really has, and that's what I'm getting at, like the sustainability. And by the way, I take it back. Brubaker technically does lead in innings because of yesterday's start, although he's at like 15.1 in his 4 starts. Um, yeah, he's not lasting long at all. He just has one more start than everyone else. But yes, so like the bullpen is such. I'm sorry, the rotation is such a weakness right now. The bullpen is such a strength. Um, like it is just absolutely remarkable. And you mentioned before in the one space is like how many times can we talk about Will Crow? And I feel like we're just gonna have to keep doing it. So like Will Crow, this point in time, 13.1 innings, still 0 ERA. So mind you, again, we're at the 10% like mark, right, for the season. He's on pace for 130 innings. That can't happen. You can't do that from a middle reliever, right? He's third in the team for innings pitched. And then Dylan Peters at 10.1, like you said, 3 wins so far in the season, also a 0 ERA. Just it's what they're doing is just magnificent. And to maybe just keep talking, like I feel like Will Crow didn't have like his best stuff again, but he pitched. Like this dude just looks totally, totally different right now. So like what we are seeing is he has some really, really good stuff this year. But what I'm also seeing is when he doesn't have his stuff, he's still very effective. Sure. Who cares? I like it. And then so again, we've talked about Crow a lot, albeit very warranted. But I feel like someone who we haven't talked about a ton, we do mention him, but is Bednar. And holy hell, Bednar has. I mean, yesterday just showed it too. Talk about a guy who also got in trouble, but that didn't stop him from just dominating and looking at every hitter and saying, "I am better than you. I'm going to attack you. Bring it."
He did it all series. Thursday, he did it. He came in and did the inning in a third, struck out 2 batters, closed the door. Friday, he comes in, strikes out the side that he faces. Sunday comes in, gets into a little bit of an issue there, has to intentionally walk a batter, load the bases, but like just absolutely huge strikeouts. Strikes out the side again yesterday. So he's got 12 strikeouts now in 8 innings. He picked up 8 strikeouts this series in 3 1/3 innings. Just overpowered hitters. And that was exactly what he did. He was just like, I am better than you. I'm going to attack you, and you're not going to hit this pitch. And you saw it all weekend. He dominated. The one guy I'll say, like, he dominated Wilson Contreras.
Yes, he did.
This series.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure he faced him 3 times and just struck him out swinging on fastballs all 3 times. Contreras just could not touch him. And yesterday, I think it was that moment where it was 2nd and 3rd. Contreras was up, and everybody was just like, "Why aren't we walking him? Like put him on base, put him on base." And instead, he just went like fastball, 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 and just blew it by him. And it's like, okay, don't put him on base. That'll do. What a performance by Bednar the whole series, but in particular yesterday. Just that is a big boy inning right there that he put together, and what a save! Like if you're saves sometimes are like bad stats to look at, but he earned that save yesterday.
He did, and yes, thanks to Marisnik as well. Like, he helped them out there. Definitely a team effort of that. But like, as mentioned, like he gave up some bloops, which were good pitches too. Like, I feel like who did he jam? It wasn't
Suzuki was the one who got that little bloop double over Yoshi. Yeah.
Then there you go. Like, that was a really good pitch too. He just got it and it blooped in there, but like, it didn't bother him. It's not like he imploded. He just kept going and kept attacking, and he just looks so good. Like, he shows the part. I think you were coming in and seeing like last year wasn't like some fluke or whatever. Like, this guy is legit, and he was using the situation. He was used 3 times this weekend, right? So obviously twice in the earlier innings. This time he came in for the actual save situation, shut it down. So every time he's been in too, it's been a crucial part. Like, this wasn't just an easy save. Like, he wasn't just in there to get some innings in or whatever. He was used 3 times this weekend, and all 3 were a very, very crucial spot into the game and shut it down. So Bednar just adding as well to this success in the bullpen just looks fantastic. He looks so filled. And of course, we all know and saw what happened after the game.
Yeah.
He's got that closest mentality, I think it's safe to say.
Yes, for sure. He's
crazy.
He's just perfect for this team. Like, the fact that he's from Pittsburgh, and he is like that dude. Like, he is good. He kind of reminds me of a little bit, like, if I'm like comparing him to like Pirates closers of the past, he kind of gives me like Matt Capps vibes, but like with like an angry Matt Capps, like an angry Matt Capps who just wants to like kill you. That's that's kind of what he reminds me of a little bit.
He clearly wants to kill you, and that's what I love so much about it. Like, he wants to kill you. If we could just get a little bit of that, right? Like we talk about, like in the whole Mitch Keller, like that's what like that has been missing out of Mitch Keller, and Bednar has that for days. And that's what I loved so much at the game. And if people that are like listening to this don't even know what we're saying, if you saw after the game, right, all the teammates were coming, what he was saying to every teammate about F them, the Cubs.
Yeah, he was just like, F them,
a professional
like,
player is taking this quite personally.
Yeah. In the handshake line, it was excellent. Yeah.
Right. Oh, well. So, yes, the bullpen once again pulls through, basically gives the wins for the Pirates. Offensively, if we want to touch up on this for the last few minutes, any other things stand out that we haven't touched on?
Brian Hayes still looks great. Like, the power still hasn't come yet. He hasn't homered yet, but he laced a double yesterday. He's hitting extra base hits. He's got 5 doubles now on the year. He's getting on base, OBP over 400. I really like what we're seeing out of Brian Hayes offensively. If he can just if he can just get some air under those balls, like he's gonna be so good. He's gonna be so good. But right now, still hitting the ball hard, getting the ball, getting extra base hits, getting on base. He's looked very good. On the flip side, Brian Reynolds is completely lost. I'm nowhere near like to the point where like I'm worried about Brian. Like I'm not worried about Brian Reynolds long term right now, but he is completely lost up there. He is drawing a few walks, every now and then, but he he's like not even hitting the ball at the infield at this point. Like every time if he does get the bat on the ball, it's weak contact, and a lot of times it's just he's striking out. He looks uncomfortable. The one thing I've noticed this series too with him is just a lot of check swings. So it's like he's just not seeing the ball well. Like
He absolutely is.
I've never seen him check swing as many times as I have in the past like week or so. It's like he's not confident up there. He's not attacking the baseball. He's not seeing it well out of the pitcher's hands. Whatever it is, it's just not in a good rhythm right now. And hopefully he can kind of knock himself out of that and get back into it, because this team needs Brian Reynolds to be good. Plain and simple.
Yes, very long term too. They need him to be good. But I'm with you too. Like I'm not worried about him in the sense of like Kevin Newman-ish. Like this guy just isn't good. He's good, but like that's the thing too. He just looks completely lost. And I think that's what makes me feel, more confident that he'll turn it back around, because he's just not. And you're talking about the check swings too, and I'm also talking about the times where like a ball just goes right down the middle of the plate and he doesn't even swing at it. Like he just lets it go past him for strike 3, and it's, what are you doing, Brian Reynolds? Like this isn't Brian Reynolds. So mentally, this seems more something to me of like he's just not seeing it. I don't know what's going on. I know we had a day off, Sunday obviously, because Brian Hayes and Reynolds both had a day off. Past Sunday, I should say, not this last one. So I don't know. Maybe a day off is coming for him. Just get your mind right. Come back. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he can work through it. But yes, I'm a little worried short term right now that something's not right with Brian Reynolds, but he can definitely turn it around. And yes, with Brian Hayes, still looking great. Like you talk about StatCast pages, we talk about the red, right? Everything for Brian Hayes is red except for the barrel percentage, which is simply just because he's doing everything great. He just needs more lift. And if that happens, then you're probably seeing more home runs, right? You're seeing more of the power categories. So I like everything from Brian Hayes as well. And then everyone else is just kind of there. Basically. I'll hand it this. Like again, like Roberto Perez, he has been good. Like I got to hand it to him as well.
Yeah. He had a very good series this series too. Yeah.
Yep. What he's doing with the pitching staff, what he's doing offensively has been very good.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's been a well above average hitter up to this point, which you were not expecting that. So you're expecting good defense, which it seems like he has provided. He's handled the staff well, and he is getting putting some nice at bats together. So I don't know how long he'll be doing that. Like we'll see offensively, if this is real or not. I mean, he's capable of. He's done it before. Like he's put together a couple good offensive seasons. So he's shown that he can do it. Is this going to be one of those years where he can do it? It'll go a long way for sure.
Very much so. All right. So we'll wrap this up. This was Starbucks. Pirates do play tomorrow, right? Not tonight, but tomorrow at 8:35 versus the Brewers. So can see Kutch again.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, off today. Milwaukee series tomorrow. Yep.
Sounds good. So with that said, we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.
See you guys.